Well, you mentioned male leadership in the church and the need for strong, robust, these types of men in leadership. You didn't always hold a complementarian view of things. You grew up kind of a default egalitarian. I wonder if you could walk us through your transition from more of a egalitarian view of the pastorate to what you hold now as a complementarian view.
Yeah.
Not to get all crazy geeky on our audience here, but this is one of the more potentially interesting and controversial areas that you touch on in the preface of your book.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was my big struggle, because I knew, I mean, if you lead off the book with this,
Right.
my goodness, and I have, when I say I have friends that are egalitarians, I really do, and we speak at conferences together, and we hang out together, and our wives know each other. I mean, it's, I have really good friends with whom I disagree, but my journey was this. I was in seminary trying to figure out, okay, what is the church supposed to be? And the church I was a part of that I helped start was an egalitarian church, and we were heavily influenced by Willow Creek, and I love the influence that I received from Bill Hybels with regard to leadership and the passion for non-church people coming to Jesus, and I just kind of adopted that viewpoint because it just seemed pragmatically right. In fact, I wrote a paper when I was in seminary that basically. The paper was about church planting. I said, hey, if we're going to reach people, we gotta focus on the main things. We gotta drop these, tertiary issues that divide us as followers of Jesus. We can't be worried about. And so I make the argument that that this whole complementarian thing is not only biblically wrong, it's cultural suicide, and that's basically what I said in the paper. And my professor, who was an egalitarian, said, you should write a book on that. So as I'm writing this paper, though, I need to study the other side, right? I need to be a good scholar. I need to know if I'm challenged. And so I read Piper and Grudem's book that I think had just come out. I'm pretty sure it just came out. This is like 96, 97, I can't remember. Maybe I just found it and it had already been out, but I doubt it. I think, as I began to read those essays, and I began to go back to the scripture, and I became really clear between the first rough draft of the paper and the last, I realized, oh my, I've switched positions. And now I had to finish the paper. So I finished the paper as if I was an egalitarian because I did not have time to reverse my position. And, but that was my journey to this. And so I began to read, that book and others. And Dr. Piper and Grudem had preached sermons and done conferences, et cetera. And so I just began to, and I didn't know how that would possibly play or work, and so, but I just had to face the truth of what I saw in Scripture there. So that's really what happened, and to this day, I have sympathies with egalitarians because, I mean, especially I think in the coming years, is going to be to hold a complementarian position is going to be unbelievably challenging. It is now. It's going to be unbelievably challenging in coming years. So I appreciate my friends. I disagree with them, and I think there are ramifications for not being a complementarian on the church.